So let me tell you a little bit about why I'm curious about this topic. My grandparents were all born in Sweden, and so I have a lot of cousins over there. And I have one cousin, Eva, who wrote a book called The Charisma Code. Now the bad news is, it's only in Swedish. So I'm sorry, we won't be looking at that today. But she did research for like the past 5 to 7 years, studying for days and days in libraries videotapes of charismatic people to try to break down the elements of what makes somebody charismatic. And a lot of that has to do with the right and left side of the brain and things that we need to learn to become really good speakers. So we have been working on projects together for years. Unfortunately, her written English isn't that good, and my Swedish is like, you'd get less than the preface on my written Swedish. So we haven't figured out how to do this yet, but we're going to work on something that will come out hopefully this year. In English, yes. But a lot of my facts and figures and things are deemed from her research, which I have learned a lot from. So we thank Eva, even if she isn't here. We've been on Skype a lot as I prepared this. So for you people who are left-brain people, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, you want to know where we're going. Because if not, you don't want to be on this bus. Because that's really important to left-brain people, to kind of know, here's the direction we're going, and here's what I'm going to get. So we're going to talk about mirror neurons. Who's heard of mirror neurons? Raise your hand. A few of you. Good. And it's very exciting that the rest of you haven't, because this will be new information that you'll be able to use. We're going to talk about the left brain and how we can help left-brain people. We're going to talk about using imagery, and that there are different types of imagery. There's imagery like visuals, and then there's comparisons and metaphors, which are images that we make up with words, so that you can still get the brain to have images, but it's like the concrete image versus the image that you plant in the brain by talking about it. Then we're going to talk about pauses, because we talk about that a lot, right, in Toastmasters, about pauses. But I'm going to give you some other information about pauses that I think you'll find very valuable, because I did. I was quite surprised. In the last class when I did it, they were quite surprised too. And then eye contact. Another thing we talk about in Toastmasters all the time. So we're going to just make sure that these things, if we incorporate these into our speaking, we will be using and speaking to both sides of the brain, and so therefore connect with our audience.